We are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. The stakes are high, no we won't fold, because we are unbeatable. We are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no we won't fold, because we are unbeatable.
Welcome to the world of Pokemon, and thank you guys so much for joining us on today's episode of Unbeatable. It is so wonderful to have you guys here as we begin today's episode. All of our trainers find themselves in the VIP section of a sort of local Pokemon fan club pancake breakfast as they are sitting with their mentally defeated friend Vermilion, as they have recently watched their friend Vermilion's grandfather walk away after giving them the heartbreaking news that their grandfather will not allow them to continue on in their Pokemon journey. At this point, everyone, how are we feeling seeing Vermilion look so defeated?
I think DJ's stressed. Yeah, DJ's stressed. She doesn't do great with conflict, but Vermilion's her friend, and she doesn't want her friend to be sad. So now she's like kind of angry because she's feeding off of Coryne's energy, but she's also like not wanting to be confrontational.
Speaking of Coryne's energy, what is Coryne's energy?
If people are looking at Coryne, you see Coryne's eyes are just following the grandpa across the room, and then they whip around and they look back to Vermilion, and they're like kind of doing that like looking thing, and seeing Vermilion choose not to do anything. Coryne's hand has been on Vermilion's jacket that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And Coryne is going to, under the table, tug on it like a solid yank to like pull Vermilion's attention to Coryne.
Given the sheer like weight difference because of the muscle mass between the two people, and the fact that Vermilion is a D4 in strength, I think they kind of get yanked pretty quick.
And I'm gonna lock eyes with them.
They actually, I'll see if they even meet your eyes at this point. Because one of the things with the conversation they just had is they were very obviously attempting to sort of like emulate a lot of your actions in the conversation. And that seems to have not worked in the conversation they were having. But at the current point, it seems like Vermilion is barely able to meet your eyes as they sort of look over, and you kind of see them like glance at you, and then like they don't even hold the eye contact sort of thing.
Corinne's gonna shove the anger way deep down, so that Vermilion can't see it or feel it. And Corinne's gonna say, "Is this what you want?"
No. No, I don't want that.
What do you need?
I don't know. And they really do look like just at a loss. And it seems like their grandfather's words really do seem to sort of like they have struck at the core of Vermilion, and Vermilion does not know how to function at the moment. They're sort of having this sort of like almost like disassociative like moment. And no amount of like trying to center them at this moment is going to pull them out of that. People sort of just need a minute after stuff like that. And it looks like Vermilion's taken a minute or two longer, I think.
Cool. All of that happened in about 8 seconds.
Okay.
Is Grandpa still here?
No, Grandpa at this point remember, we're not in a building, we're in this like large public park that's sort of outside the fan club. Grandpa at this point has walked out of the hedgerows, and maybe with a good enough agility die.
Boys, quick.
8 seconds flat. Well, because there was the thing of like the whole yanking and like doing all that, it would take, with the 8 seconds, but it doesn't begin until Vermilion is able to finish the conversation, all those. So I think in terms of the hedge maze, or the hedge section, definitely not in there. With a good enough agility check, though, going through this crowd, you could probably reach if you really wanted to confront this person.
I don't know, he's a spry old man, Coryne.
Yeah, he's a muscular man.
Jump over the hedge.
We got Master Roshi in the house.
I'm rolling agility to get to him.
Yeah, if you want to roll me an agility check. As Coryne is leaping into action, it looks like The other two making split-second decisions. Are you just letting Coryne go off and do a thing? Or are you going to try and go with Coryne? What are you guys doing?
I would like to clarify, Corinne's energy is like very low-key, and you would only know how amped up she is if you knew who she is. So
Which
you guys would feel
both of these people would know. Yeah.
I think I am watching what Corinne's doing, but am playing it from my location. So
Okay.
I'm gonna see where that goes.
Hondo sent. Yeah. And then what about you, DJ?
I think DJ would look at Seth, look at Coryne, look at Vermilion, be very conflicted and just panic and get up and follow Coryne from a little bit of a distance.
Okay.
Just to be like backup if she needs it.
Okay. So yeah, Coryne, what is your agility check?
16.
16. With a 16, I will give you the opportunities to succeed in, if you're choosing to catch up with this person, I'm going to leave the full narration of what you do in this time to you. So what does that look like, your success?
Sure. So Corinne stands up from the table and kind of clocks him, and is just to catch up, is gonna do like a brisk walk. Maybe it turns into like just a little bit of a jog. And as maybe like 10 feet away, is just gonna shout out, excuse me, sir, excuse me. And is just gonna kind of hearken and is going to walk up with her hand out, like for a handshake.
Okay. This sort of, let me see here. I'm gonna just give a quick couple rolls just to like see the general like sort of immediate vibe of the sort of characters that you're walking up on, because these are sort of more important characters, and all of those are resoundingly negative. So as you sort of like walk up, there is this, they were all low ass rolls. There's this sort of like vibe in the air as you sort of push forward, and the president Jimeno like barely turns back to like glance your way, is very sort of dismissive in the glance, like was only really tolerating your presence because you were hanging out with their grandchild kind of thing.
Of course.
2 of the 4 security guards with him, as a couple more have flanked at this point to like join as he's leaving, sort of like do the thing where they're not stopping you from saying whatever you're saying, but they are like definitely like doing the security guard body block sort of thing of like making it very clear that like you may have a handout, but you're not getting any closer to this very important person.
Sure. Seeing that, Corinne will go ahead and kind of place, like, hand was out to shake, and goes ahead and places hand kind of on her chest, and just approaches the group of people now and just kind of bows a little bit and goes, I realize that you're a busy man. I just wanted to thank you so much for breakfast. I realized that wasn't for us. No kind of reaction or anything.
I'm debating his reaction. It seems like President Jimeno is definitely one of those people who's definitely like lesser on the whole words thing, and it is more one of those people who listens rather than speaks most of the time. So he's definitely absorbing what you're saying and is unsure as to where the fuck you're going with it, kind of thing. But he has fully stopped at this point, walking forward, and is still like sort of glancing back at you, not really giving you the full respect of stopping, turning, and fully listening to you.
Sure. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll make this brief, since I'm not one to be rude, of course. But I do want to let you know that person that you just spoke to is my family now, and they will do as they please. Always. Have a nice day. And I turn around and I walk away.
Okay, you walk away. You do not stay for what reaction may have happened. You do not stay for any sort of response that may have come up. You walk away, and you take the last word on that conversation. Can you please give me a charm roll?
Can I see the reaction from across the across the way? After the charm roll, perhaps?
Give me a second with the charm roll.
Yes.
And the best part is the distance. You won't hear what the conversation was, but you might get some sort of reaction.
Scenery, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's up, Coryne? What'd you get?
Is there... let me not.
Is there?
You looking for bonuses? I can help you on bonuses. What do you need?
That's it. Give me
Give you a reason to have a bonus.
Yeah. I'm more curious as to what the reason is.
Yeah, what's the reason? What was that?
No, I'm asking. Do you want a bonus? That will change my
Sure.
effort of how much I'll put into it.
Yeah,
Do you
I'll
need
take
a
one.
bonus? Do you need a bonus?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think based on the
Always.
situation that's been given, I think things that would help the effectiveness of Corinne's plight would be their directiveness, their swiftness of being able to navigate through a large crowd, and willingness to stand up in front of 4 to 8 security guards, you said?
It's 4 security guards right now.
With the
potentially more
height
hidden.
of 8. It's crazy. Being able to do that, and also
12 feet tall.
I don't think that President Jimeno has had many people tell him what was happening. He's normally someone who is telling people what to do and what is happening. So for that to not be the case for him in this case, and then him not get the last word based on the minor interaction we've had, I feel like the man be shooketh. Maybe,
Also, Kenna's composure, Corinne's composure, and letting
And
the
Kenna, they're one and
anger
the same.
sit low.
At this very moment.
Get low.
Like, not letting the anger boil over, I think, adds on to what Matt said, too.
Let's see here.
And she's
okay.
holding a fire
I'm hearing these arguments, and I think that they are very good for your understanding of the character as it is now. Because these are well reasoned with how you know the character as they are now, and it is not your fault that you don't know things about
It's rigged.
the
He's not
backstory of
giving
this
it to
character.
us. Corinne, you
Aaron
did
said
your best.
overruled.
Get in the
Overruled.
comments. No. I'm talking myself into it right now. You want to let me talk myself into it, or just deny it?
go on,
Because
go
I'm
ahead.
trying to talk myself
I
into
feel like
it
if you're
here.
talking
Aaron
yourself into
said
it, we'd already have
sustained.
the bonus.
Aaron said sustained, roll another d20. Thank you, Aaron. Very
A
kind
A
of
D20!
you.
A D20!
Oh
my God.
I have to roll it. It's going to be the same as a D4. There's no difference.
With that sort of argument being made, and I do see the place for it, can I get a fortitude check from Corinne to see how well she actually did keep her composure and how well she actually did keep it from bubbling over?
Sure. Would you like me to tell you what I rolled for?
Nope. This fortitude is determining whether or not you get the bonus to the charm roll. This was a good argument on Torie and Matt's part. I will allow it depending on the fortitude roll.
I rolled a 9 on a D12, so 9 plus 3 is 12.
Okay. You needed to beat a 10 because this is directly adverse to your character, so it was quite difficult.
Sure.
You keeping rage contained is a thing that is very anti-Corinne, so it was a pretty difficult roll. But you did beat the 10. So I will go ahead and give you a singular advantage to this charm roll.
Go!
Okay. So before I roll,
I'm trying to
the
be
advantage-
fair, but not overly generous in my rulings, if that makes sense.
That's and I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Thank you, Your
so
Majesty.
My charm roll was a 9.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll this D4. 2, 10, 11.
11. The reaction that you do not get any sort of benefit from observing Corinne. However, DJ, the reaction that you spot sort of during this conversation as you're a few feet back from Corinne, like seeing Corinne turn back to you, you hear portions of Corinne's sort of speech over the sounds of pancake breakfasting happening around you. The reaction is less like what you would expect of some sort of like take it abackness or rage. It's much more a sort of like pity and narcissism, almost like, oh, this girl doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about sort of conversation, but not in an extreme sense, in a sense that like she's just barely sort of touching that reaction out of him.
Torie hates it. Torie hates it!
Hates it. Yeah.
Torie hates
it's
it.
much more like this is an 18-year-old child telling me things that they know nothing about. Yeah.
Yeah, very old person dismissive. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep that in my back pocket.
Okay. Then Coryne, do you continue back and grab DJ?
Yeah,
You don't have to grab DJ.
Yep.
No,
you pick DJ up, throw
I
over
pick
your
DJ
shoulder.
up and I
You don't gotta
physically
throw
carry her.
DJ like
No.
a football.
I think DJ's facing Coryne as Corinne's coming back, right? DJ, all you would see is like, you know how people get those veins that stick out on the sides of their neck
Oh yeah.
when they're really trying to, you know what I mean?
Oh man.
So you see that, but Corinne's face is passively pleasant, and as Coryne walks past you, you just hear deep breathing, just deep breaths.
As a woman in STEM, I relate to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything. She's just gonna stand and kind of look at you a little scared. Because that kind of like calm anger is often more terrifying than someone actively lashing out.
Okay.
So DJ will just be like, whew, glad I didn't need to support. And go back and sit down.
As you guys are sort of heading back and sitting down, before we continue the conversation, Matt, can you do me a favor, please?
What?
Can you please roll a special attack dice? Don't worry, this is a stat roll, not like an actual attack roll. Special attack dice for Axel, Bowie, and Richter, please.
Respectively? Okay.
We said hydro pump.
We'll do...
No, this is not a Pokemon attack roll. This is I'm using the conversion table for
funny.
trainer
But it would be
stats.
so on
Axel
if it
got
was.
a 5.
Okay.
Richter got a 7.
Okay, so that's 12
Bowie
combined.
Got...
I'm using their combined brain cells right now.
Bowie got a 6.
We got a 6. Okay, so I don't know if you recall, but Bowie received a text message from you from DJ's phone or Corinne's phone. One of the others. It was Corinne's phone. Last session, asking to keep an eye out for somebody who has a bruised face, specifically in the style of the binoculars, with their combined brain cells of an 18. I want you to tell me what the search looks like and then what it looks like when they succeed.
So I think it looks like they have a kind of like a 3-man stack. So you have Richter on the bottom, Bowie on his shoulders, and then Axel at the very top, kind of like looking around, and Bowie obviously being heavy, but Richter being strong enough to carry him. It kind of wiggles from. It's like if you took off the trench coat that were the 3 people trying to get into the movie theater. You would see them kind of like wiggle around as they're moving around the table. Occasionally, they take a break and wait in line for more pancakes, and then they break away from that, eat their pancakes all in their little stack, and then. As they're going back in line to wait, they were like, oh, that was great. We should actually eat more before we go back. They get back in line to wait, and then as they're kind of just standing there, Bowie kind of turns and sees someone that has a scar, and he's like, bah, bah, and taps onto Axel. He like points over, and then Axel looks over with still eating one of the pancakes and is like, Jim. And then Bowie kind of stomps on Richter's head, and then Richter just kind of goes, huh? And then turns as they like lean back, and they see where he is, and then as he kind of like leans back forward, Axel's going to fling off the top of Bowie and fly over towards where the guy is.
Okay.
And have the pancake that was in his mouth, kind of hanging there, fall on the guy's face so he gets like syrup or something on him to make him even more noticeable.
Yeah.
And Mark, I think he had like strawberry syrup or something like that, just so it's like a
Nice.
red. Look for red. And then they're all going to like scramble as if they did something wrong when they really didn't, but they're gonna like scramble, kind of run into each other and stuff, and then run back towards me. To report back.
with that story, it's by the way,
fucking incredible.
fantastic
That's
storytelling,
awesome.
Matthew. Thank you. But with that story happening, Coryne and DJ, as you guys are headed back to the table to sit down with everyone, you hear a commotion and you look over and you see the sort of like ending of this, where it's the moment that Axel is flying through the air and just with a strawberry jam or like strawberry syrup, like red syrup pancake, slaps one of President Jimeno's bodyguards in the face with a pancake. And then all three Pokemon through the crowd back towards your guys as people are just like looking around. Like some people are laughing at the moment because they think it's an accident. Other people saw the whole thing and are kind of like, what the fuck was that? And the bodyguard looks pissed. But as he goes and he wipes some of the syrup off of his face, you see just like the half crescent fucking bruise from where the edge of a binocular fucking just dug into the side of his head. It's like an inch from his temple. Like if you'd gone slightly the other way, he might have gotten
He
seriously
wouldn't have
injured.
shown up for work.
Yeah.
Can Coryne take a picture?
Maybe.
Just a real quick
That's
snap.
a real high agility-based technology check because they are on the way out with that. I can't.
There's no way I can do that subtly. Never mind.
Okay.
Not like if I'm, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
The
With the
visuals
visual
would
of what's
just be really
going on,
bad.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
With that DJ, you also, I see you got
Can
your
I
hands
do
up. I
it
knew it was
not
coming.
subtly?
I knew it was coming. I knew that as soon as Kenna said I wasn't doing it, Torie was gonna be like, I won't do
I
that.
like to do it not subtly. DJ's never been subtle about anything in her life. Of course she's just gonna do it.
an agility-based technology check.
Oh, that's a 5 on my d6 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So 9.
9 is pretty decent.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's actually, in terms of the scaling of Unbeatable, pretty good. However, it is
Not
not
fast.
good
Could,
enough.
Your Honor, may I approach the bench? Could the happenstance
Yes,
of
Constable,
syrup
you
being
may.
upon his face disregard his awareness of said surroundings due to the fact that the syrupy
That would slow him
substance,
down.
Yeah, his reaction time is actually kind of sticky. So
His reaction
kinda sticky.
time is sticky. No, because this is not having to do with his reaction time. This is a bodyguard got kind of taken a hit as people were leaving, and even though it's not like actual danger to the president, it is one of those things that sort of puts them in the next gear up. So unfortunately, it did not hit the 10 that it needed to hit in order to take the photo. Well, you take a photo, but it is just sort of a
for that
blurry
D4 that
mess.
made the difference.
The D4 would have made the difference.
Could I take like, you know how iPhones let you hold the button and you can take like a burst of pictures?
Yeah,
Yeah, can I take a bunch of those?
sure,
Just
100%.
Just hold it and try and get as many pictures as I
Yeah,
can.
you get a lot of photos of the back of 4 security guards' heads and an elderly man's head.
Okay, I'm gonna circle the back of the head of the guy with the strawberry
Of
syrup.
the guy, so at the very least, you know, like hair color and like general build.
Yeah, like you can tell
Yeah,
from
yeah,
like
yeah.
body stature sometimes.
Yeah, and also you guys
like,
saw
all
the
those
dude, so
clues.
you'd be able to like probably recognize him if you saw him again. Yeah.
Okay.
But at this point, Seth, Bowie, Richter, and Axel threw the crowd back to you as you heard a commotion, saw people running, and people are just like there's a couple people chuckling at your Pokemon, kind of people like, hey, your Pokemon are being a bit disruptive. Like there's a lot of like opinions about your Pokemon being thrown around right
Gotcha.
now.
Yeah, they are really cute. Thank you guys. Okay. I'm gonna return Richter just because he's the largest and him swinging his little tail around is a bit much for hitting the chairs and stuff. And then I'm going to get my phone back from Bowie and return him, and then have Axel kind of sit up on the table because he looks the most panicked and worried because he was the most close to the guy. and I'll just say, okay, calm down. Run it back. Why are you guys running? What's going on?
Chimchar, chimchar. Chimchar, chimchar, chimchar. Chim, 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 chim.
Strawberry? Okay. Cool.
Okay.
1 second. I turn to Vermilion, and I'll say, who was the guard? What color hair did he have?
This would just be like run-of-the-mill brown.
Okay, he had chimchar color hair, and the scar was on his face. So you might. Do you know who that guy was? Vermilion?
What? Like they kind of like pull out of their moment.
Yeah, I'm doing this in hopes to just give them a task to think of that's not an immediate
100%.
Yeah, and I'll describe
can you roll
like
a charm
of the
die
guards.
with advantage?
Now
just
we get the advantage,
like
guys. Now we get the advantage.
This is an easy task with your friend. So it's sort of like Seth has traveled with a depressed Vermilion long enough to know this well enough. I would definitely give the advantage there.
Garbage rolls.
Did you beat a 5?
Technically, yeah.
Okay.
7.
Okay, there you go. 7. Yeah, they sort of like go, sorry, what are we... Why is Axel covered in syrup?
Not important. Actually, kind of important. So, and then both Axel and I will be explaining it. So it'll be like, so there was a guy that was standing, he picked blueberry pancakes, but he traded with Bowie, and Bowie was eating strawberry syrup. So that's why he has the strawberry on his hand. That's not important. But he threw the pancake onto the guy that we saw last night with the binocular on his tip, but we got him, and then they left. So,
and this conversation is where the other two as well start walking in, so you guys are present for most of this conversation.
Okay.
I think when Axel sees the other two, he's going to start explaining it to them right away, because he's like, you guys knew what was going on. This, and that, and blah, 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 and chimchar.
Okay.
No, yeah, that makes perfect
Great.
Sense. Yeah.
Awesome. So we should go follow his, what does he drive? Like a truck or something? How many bad guys, or not bad guys, I don't know, whatever they're called. I'm assuming bad guys because he was attacking us.
It's gonna be whatever Grandpa's in today is gonna be something like top of the line but reliable. He doesn't believe in like buying like frivolous stuff.
I'm kidding.
Sponsored by Chevy Equinox.
We're not
coming
sponsored.
to you this summer, the 2024 Chevy Equinox.
But we could be. We could be.
Could be.
Aim for the skies.
Truly.
The skies being Chevy.
Chevy. But as they're sort of like sort of describing a model of car that their grandfather would drive, it does strike you as sort of interesting that this businessman is like, no on all of the money stuff. I want to get something that is reliable and top of the line.
That's such an old man thing.
So I think if we can figure out what kind of car that is, sadly we don't have Ava, because Ava could probably tail them.
I mean, we have a bunch of flying type, but like we don't really need to tail them.
This is true.
Like, Grandpa's going to one of two spots. When he's working a project, he's either always on site or resting at home.
Well, do you know why they would be... Well, I guess they would be protecting the stuff that they invested in, but I'm trying to put pieces together as to why they would be...
I think we're trying to put pieces together without edge pieces or a box.
Which is possible.
Possible, it just sucks.
And it also takes a long time. Do you know where we could find edge pieces?
I mean, I said last night we should go to the cave, but I don't know. Not anymore. I don't know. And like that sort of like defeated look sort of still like comes to them. Like Seth did a good job in the moment of sort of pulling them out of it. And that was like, Seth stopped the spiral from continuing further, but it didn't like pull them out of being fully just like defeated.
Corinne's gonna kind of go, hey, whatever you want to do, let's do it. Let's go to the cave.
And technically, if you go to the cave, I do have to make sure my friends are okay, so I wouldn't be going to the cave. I'd be going after my friends who happen to be going to the cave.
Because of your mom. Yeah, if you want, we could like do like a 5-minute head start, so that way you can be like, oh no, all of my friends have gone in, and then like I have to go in now. Even a 30-second head start, really.
Let's go 5.
Oh, Coryne just clues in to what
Yeah, they're talking about the fact that
Yeah.
Seth is not supposed to be going into dangerous spots without protecting his
Right.
friends.
I'm just trying to think of the tracking ability of you 3 compared to me, and I don't want to get too far away from me.
Well, most of Grandpa's job sites, they don't go during the day, so if we went like now, there's probably like not a lot of people down there.
Okay, well, I have to go to the Pokemon Center to do stuff.
Oh,
so
that's the same
I'll see you
direction we're
guys
going
later.
So that's not bad. Oh, we're
I
still
stand
doing
up and
okay.
walk away.
I
I
feel
do
like
wanna
that
stop
stand-up
by
is
the-
so like stick straight.
Yeah,
I do want
for
to stop
sure.
by the president of the Pokemon fan club?
Yeah, so that's the chairman is all you know him
chairman,
as
that's
thus
it, yeah.
far, is the chairman.
I
yeah.
do want to stop by the chairman and just try to. I don't have a business card or anything like that, but I do want to try and get his contact information to talk with him at some point regarding stuff, just because with him being a Pokemon fanatic, I feel like he'll have access to things that we as lowly, poor trainers, except for Vermilion, have no access to. And that could help us.
Okay. When you look for the chairman, he has not resumed his pancake chef line sort of duties, mostly because most people are pretty fucking full of pancakes. At this point, we're getting closer to like 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, so it's like it's people have had a couple hours of eating pancakes over this time. But it seems like most of the people who just came for the food have cleared out, and now the park is sort of just like people playing with Pokemon. You see that there's like a Snorlax, that there's like 8 kids all like up on his stomach. You can see that like that sort of like Butterfree I talked about earlier is fluttering, dropping little sparkles across like people on the table, which is really cute. And then you hear people sneezing and it's like, oh, it's not always so cute. There's
Yes, it is.
and then the chairman himself has taken off his apron and is sitting in his sort of like very loud attire in the grass, playing with what looks like a Pikachu and an Eevee, sort of playing like three-way tug of war with them with 2 different ropes. And he's sort of in the grass, just kind of fucking around with them. There's like grass stains all over his pants and his shirt.
So cute.
He's sort of just like in the grass.
What is he, French?
Croissant.
Chairman, I was just on the way out, but I wanted to thank you again for the pancakes and just the cool event you put together here, and was wondering if you weren't busy at a later point in the future, not today, because I have to go to the Pokemon Center because I'm busy with something. We could potentially talk shop about Pokemon stuff and other things that could involve like ways to help Pokemon like evolve or have different abilities that maybe they're not normally supposed to have by general breeding standards. And I feel like it'd be cool to just pick your brain and see what you know from meeting so many cool Pokemon and stuff, and also get your syrup recipe.
That sort of like whole monologue was very much like there was never like a break to respond to it at any point. I feel like on purpose. And you see at this point, he's been like, there was like a gesture, like he was listening as you're talking, but he's still like playing with his Pokemon. And he goes, "Yep, sounds good to me. Talk to my assistant over there."
Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah. She'll give you my office's number. We'll talk sometime, kid.
Great. Have a okay. I'll just walk away.
I want you to know, you did not have to make any sort of roll, because any charm roll with this guy is basically an auto succeed as long as he's playing with a Pokemon. I want you to know that.
Oh,
He just
that's
agrees to
cute.
things.
He's like, yeah.
You don't get to be the chairman of the Pokemon fan club without loving them the most, all right?
That is
the
very
most.
That's so
So I'll pass over the contact information with the assistant.
Absolutely.
Do I catch the assistant's name and/or
Jerry.
no?
It's Jerry.
I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared for that statement.
A name?
Prepared.
You created this person seconds ago.
I know.
I'm writing it down.
I thought it was gonna be I stop by the assistant, I get the number, I leave. Aaron
It's
wasn't
Jerry with a
prepared
G.
for the constant. No.
No.
It's Jerry for geriatric. It's another old motherfucker.
Oh.
Aaron was not prepared for the consequences of his
Okay.
own statements. All right.
For ease of continuation, I'm just gonna say, so I get the information from the assistant as I leave, and then
Yeah,
meet up
Jerry
with the
gives you
others.
the contact information, and you're able to.
Oh,
move on.
nice to meet you, Jerry. Goodbye, and then we'll skedaddle.
All right, you guys grab the president's contact information. You move on. You did want to move back to the Pokemon Center. What did you want to do at the Pokemon Center?
No, I was just giving myself an alibi. Okay.
Oh,
so we
okay,
can go
because
to
it came up
the-
in two separate conversations. That's why I thought you
I
really
know.
had a plan.
I gotta let
to go
people
to
know where I am.
the- Okay.
What? Where are you
It's
guys
that
going?
thing where
That's
you're
not the
covering
Pokemon Center. And I follow
Too
them.
much? You're covering too much for your parents?
Okay. So to clarify, are you guys heading straight there to Diglett Cave?
I mean, Coryne doesn't have anywhere else to go. Do we?
Okay.
I
Cool.
legally cannot be leading this walk, so someone needs to make a decision.
I will say DJ will look at the chairman like longingly because she wants to stay and talk to him so bad, but she also wants to go help her friend. So,
You definitely also get his contact information as well.
Say,
I was
Torie
gonna say
airdrops
she's
it to you.
she's just gonna walk up and be like, "It was so nice to meet you. You're just so fun. I think I'm gonna stop by later if you're around. I would really love to introduce you to some of my little guys, Tabasco and Aleppo and Poblano and Cayenne." And she's just gonna go.
You're the one with the pygmy Pokemon. Yes,
Yes, I have the
absolutely. Please come by.
Yes, perfect. All right, I'll see you so soon.
Okay. Yes,
then
goodbye.
Bye.
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 I love you so much!
So Seth can't be the one leading. Vermilion's too defeated to lead. I don't know that DJ knows where she's going.
DJ's smart.
And we're going.
She
DJ
can,
is
she
smart.
Can
You
help.
also told me DJ has issues navigating sometimes.
DJ's stupid, but she's smart. If Coryne needs help, she can point
DJ's
shit out.
smart. DJ's real dumb, actually.
Y'all call me the
retrospect, now
dumbest
that I
smart
think about
person
it.
you've ever met. That's kind of what DJ is. She's
All right,
the
fair
dumbest
enough.
smart person you've ever met.
So Coryne, are you leading this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. We pretty quickly you guys can leave Vermilion City and head to Route 13, where you've spent you've only been here like 3 days, and you've been to Route 13 I think every day that you've been here, because you arrived on Route 13, the next day you went and caught Pokemon, and now today you're headed back out to Route 13.
I feel like how the leading's going. Corinne's walking and Seth's in the back being like, guys, where are you going? That's towards not Diglett Cave. Actually, Diglett Cave's a little bit to your left, Coryne. But the Pokemon Center's back here. We can't go that way. Guys, stop. And I'm just doing that to make sure even the wild Pokemon know where I'm at.
Even the wild Pokemon.
I also want to clarify as well, I'm not going to retake this.
That's
In the
fucking
middle of
funny.
all of this, I want you to know that I fully fucked that entire statement up. It's Route 11. You guys are going to Route 11. Route 13 was the one that you turned onto Route 11 from. So I'm
11.
stupid.
Yeah, and that's what
We're
Seth was
all
correcting.
stupid.
Because
That's what
Coryne
Seth
was
was
going
correcting.
right.
There you go.
And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, go the other way. Go.
Going
No,
too
don't go the other
Yeah.
way. If you wanted to go here, you need to go this way. But we're not
But
going.
we're
Okay.
not going that way.
You guys headed back. Can I get a real quick just reminder for me? Sound off what Pokemon everyone has at this current moment, not just out, but in sort of like on their belts.
In Poke
as
Rap
well.
style,
Oh.
please.
Yeah, please.
In Poke what?
Myrtle, Beatrix,
Pokemon.
Smolder, Thornton, Newton.
Newton? What's Newton?
Newton. I stumbled over the name.
It's Newton, but in the
Um,
middle of the day.
Oh wait, Newton's the name of
Newton.
what?
Oh yeah. Newton the Hypno.
Oh, okay. Like a Fig Newton.
No.
Yes.
I'm really sorry, audio listeners.
Like a
Click,
cradle.
clack, click, clack, click, clack.
But they
I'm
know
gonna
what
edit
it
this.
is.
I'll make it look cool.
They know what it is.
Do you guys know what it sounds like?
Um,
It sounds like this. Kidding, Yes, I
The
messed up.
audio
God.
texture is delicious.
Oof.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right, Torie, give me the sound off for DJ, please.
Riolu and Ivysaur and Poplio and Rockruff.
Okay. Not in poker up, but I will respect the attempt.
I feel like
I thought-
the last
sorry.
two have been jumping between saying the actual Pokemon and the nickname.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's good.
sorry.
I love it.
Where it's
My Riolu named Tabasco. My Ivysaur named Aleppo. My Poplio named Poblano. And my
I'm
Rockruff named
convinced Torie
Kaya.
has never heard the poker rap once in her
I've
life.
never heard that. I don't know what that is.
Torie, we're gonna change your life after this fucking recording.
I don't know what
You
that
don't
is.
know? I'm very excited to show you the Pokemon.
Matt, give me
Okay.
a sound off for what Pokemon you got going on today.
Chimchar, Lilip, Gabite, Crocodile.
Okay, good to know. I was just kind of keeping track of what everyone had on them because there's been a lot of catching Pokemon over the last arc. Aaron needs a reminder every
Poor
once in a
Torie
while.
just- Well,
Fair.
pick
Hey,
that
if you
view.
need to
No.
remember, guys, look at the border
And
of
soon to
the
be a
episode.
Dragonair.
Oh yeah, we do have that.
Yeah, I mean, you won't
Aaron
be able
can't
to see it
see
right
that.
now, but
Yeah, no, I can't. It'll be like 8 weeks after Aaron says these words that the border will be on there.
guys, isn't it
Um,
such a frigid July this year? That's when this is releasing. I'm kidding.
Yup.
Wow.
Genuinely, I think
Oh
this
my
might be a
God.
July episode.
Is
Actually,
it?
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, like June, July, somewhere in there. All right. As you guys start headed to Diglett Cave, and you kind of move on to Route 11, you do note that remember there's that like large fence area. Do you guys want to try and cross the fence closer to the cave, where you're more likely to be observed, or farther from the cave, where you're more likely to be in danger of whatever is within the fence line?
Is it possible to have Richter like dig us a little hole to climb through?
Like a
under the
little
fence?
trench.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe he has a burrow speed, doesn't he?
You do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Let's do that then.
Okay. That did not answer my question.
I know. I
Okay.
think if we could like split the difference, you roll to see if it's either A or B, but don't tell us. I say we're going
I
in the
don't know.
middle.
Tori, do you have any opinions? Tori looks like she has
Yes.
opinions. I want to hear that.
Torie, of course, Torie has opinions. Torie always has opinions. Considering Seth is announcing, guys, we can't go that way. We have to. Pokemon Center's that way. We have to go back. I feel like we wouldn't be hidden anyway.
Fair enough. So moving earlier might be better. Okay. And then
Professor.
Coryne, did you have any opinions? Yeah.
Well, I would just like to. Corinne's head is going to be on a swivel, and since Coryne is proficient in technology, can Coryne keep a lookout for any additional cameras?
Yes. I will keep an eye on that and have you roll at appropriate times.
Okay, thank you.
But with that statement and sort of Matt's 50-50 will go wherever the GM rolls, those opinions, I think you're going to go a little bit earlier than necessarily the halfway point. Richter, no roll required. Easily able to make a nice little tunnel underneath the fence. You guys get a little dusty, you know, it's a little dry, it's a little arid. You pop out on the other side of the fence, and you do immediately feel as you're sort of like stepping anywhere that there isn't like vehicle tracks where they put the sort of like use the vehicles to put down the fence. Any other section of earth feels very almost like light and compressible. You'll remember that a lot of this area collapsed within the last few months. So the walking on the surface is not necessarily the safest thing. One of the reasons why fences are, you know, in place is to keep the public safe. As you guys continue down the way, go ahead and can I get a technology check from Coryne and one spot hidden check each, but 2 spot hidden checks from the other 2 of you. And Vermilion is a little headstrong, so they are not going to roll on this one.
I rolled a 9 on my D20. Well, I rolled a 5
man.
plus my badges.
You said spot
Man.
hidden for us?
Yeah, spot hidden for you. Yeah.
I rolled 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. Okay.
Sixth.
6. Okay. All right. Good to know. As you guys start to sort of like get closer to Diglett Cave, the loose soil pressing under your shoes, the air is kind of dry. It's kind of hot. You're getting closer to midday. you find yourselves on the ridge that's sort of like coming up to the edge of Diglett Cave, and you hear people moving about. Not like large construction crews. You remember there was sort of one off guy that Rockruff was barking at. So there is sort of like a skeleton crew that's still present at the site. Just getting things prepared. And as you're walking around, you're able to spot 2 or 3 guys near Diglett Caves entrance, and then maybe hear the sounds of a few more inside. The area itself does not look like it would be necessarily difficult to sneak around. There are lots of crates and machinery and things to move through. It will require some rolls. And to clarify, Kenna, you do see 2 sort of motion-activated cameras near the entrance of the cavern. Very similar to the ones you'd seen before.
I'll kind of tap everybody on their arm and just like point them out.
I don't know if there's any way for us to not be on cameras. So do we have a way to maybe like obfuscate our approach?
Yo, can we get that Butterfree to come back? Was it Venomoth?
Venomoth is the one that you guys saw here.
Can we get that Venomoth? Can we like bait it over here?
Hold on, let me do the dance really quick. See if I can call it over here with my pokey nature calls.
I mean, we could probably.
I will genuinely try that if there is a chance that could happen, Professor.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so I'm trying to think if there's not really any way. I don't want to damage the cameras necessarily.
Do we have a way to like kick up the loose dirt and create kind of like a dust storm? Does anybody have any like wind?
Riolu can also vacuum wave.
That'll definitely kick up a dust storm.
I think Sand Tomb would be too much.
Sand Tomb would be very obvious. Like, there's a difference between sort of making a gust of wind that might like be like, oh, that was a weird gust of wind, versus that is a tornado of sand, dust, and debris.
Do we think that by watching the skeleton crew from afar with like the binoculars or something, we could pick up like a pattern if they are unloading stuff here and then like this area is clear for a second, or other things like that potentially that could help?
I think that's definitely doable. That's absolutely on the table.
Okay. And then if we know we're going to be in front of a camera, we can then use the like dust of wind to help kind of cover our tracks as we walk through that location maybe. And see if that could help us.
I'm watching.
Kenna!
I'm always watching.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
Kenna, you're the best. You're such a freak sometimes. I want you to know that. I want you to be aware of that.
Man.
I wanted you to know that. Yeah, I think you could definitely learn the patterns, and I think if you took the time to learn the patterns, while you're trying to sneak through, I would grant you an advantage if you successfully learn the patterns.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, we can do that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm treating this too much like Metal Gear, and it's not.
Mood.
What do we got to do?
This is more like the stealthy levels in Legend of Zelda, where it's like, if it fucks up, you just fight everybody. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. If you wanted to observe the people, I would ask that there be sort of like a person assigned to do that, and then the other 2 would grant an advantage to that person.
For what?
So who is for learning the patterns of the people who are moving and trying to figure out like a way through all the boxes and stuff. I would ask that there be sort of like an individual.
Would this be
What is the role?
What skill? Yeah.
So with that kind of comes from the what's the word? That's going to come from the approach of the person who's doing the observing. There are a couple of different ways that I could see this going. I think if I pull up the character sheet just so I can look at all the stats real quick. I think tracking is definitely on there. I think theft is available. I think that there is sort of like an argument to be made for bluffing. I think that there's there's a couple of different ones depending on, I mean, obviously stealth. So there's like a couple of different sort of arguments that could be made for how you're doing it.
Yeah, I have a +3 to tracking, but that's with the education.
Yeah, I would probably allow tracking or geography in this both.
But tracking is also an int, and you have a d20. So
I was gonna say I don't have any bonuses, but I do have a d20.
That would statistically roll better, I think.
is a D20 without bonuses, or what is it, like a D10 with bonuses for you? D12 with bonuses?
A D12 with bonuses or a D20 with bonuses. The biggest thing you're forgetting, I roll it or
Is
Torie
Matt.
rolls it.
Yeah, that's true. That's the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference. Okay.
Well, I have a quick question. Does it
Yeah, what's up?
matter? Does it matter that we're having Torie's Pokemon also do the vacuum move?
I
Is that
would
gonna be
not say
later?
that it does. It's also, not been declared to me that the vacuum move is happening yet. That was sort of like a thrown out as a conversation. We're just learning
If-
what the patterns of everybody down the
If
way
I do the
is.
tracking check, I have a mental fail-safe if it goes bad. But we could avoid that by just going with the D20 instead.
I can roll it. As long as
Okay.
we're okay with that, I can roll it.
Go ahead and roll
I'm
it with
done.
an advantage for me.
With a single advantage?
Fail safe.
Yep. It's the failsafe is arguing with Aaron why he should still get it. I
It's not
smell
like it
I think that was-
partly it is, but it's not all.
I think that was a good roll. So I rolled a 16 on the die, plus my badges is a dirty
Very
20,
good roll.
plus
I
my
could never.
D4, which was a 4. Do I explode on advantages?
You do
Yeah,
explode
you
on
do.
advantages. The 16 was already fantastic.
Okay,
The 16
okay.
was more than enough.
That's going to be a 26 total.
Yeah, 16 was more than ugh. 26 is you know which ones
got
of them
you,
are like
Matt.
depressed and which ones aren't. Like you know their psyche at this point.
Jesus.
You know like you know their favorite food at this point.
Oh
You
my
followed them
God.
home.
In there.
Rent free,
okay.
baby.
Yeah, as DJ sort of like has this moment where DJ like kind of like takes the chin and like beautiful minds this moment, like the math and the equations all appear in the sky. It's like a DJ, you have a pretty familiar idea with like a couple of the ones who are like working on like it looks like some sort of rolled steel, a couple of them, another one's doing like maintenance on one of the like larger trucks. So you sort of get an idea of where everyone's at and where they're likely to look and where they're not likely to look if you guys were to make a little bit of a wind gust and try to head in there.
Okay.
I do have a question. When you guys do make the attempt to go in, how many of your Pokemon are going to be out? Because one of the things that we sort of learned from our last time doing like large stealth rolls is each person adds to the difficulty, but also can cover for other people.
Corinne's not going to have any of her Pokemon.
Okay. I think Vermilion is going to be the same. Vermilion is not going to have any of either of their Pokemon, or any of their Pokemon. They have 3 Pokemon. Any of their
Gerber's
Pokemon
like
out.
D20 stealth won't help us.
Maybe I might be able to cover for Matt's bad rolls. That's not a terrible idea.
No, I don't know if Vermilion would want to have their Pokemon out in this.
No, I think
situation.
Vermilion is very much still like in a fugue state and is going along with this because they had initially been very passionate about it and they have not decided on things yet. They're doing that thing where they made a decision when they were of sound mind and they are no longer of sound mind, but they're continuing with that decision.
I will keep out Richter, and I'll put back
Okay.
Axel. They both have a D10, but I feel like Richter quicker.
Okay, and then DJ, are you keeping? You obviously have to keep at least one Pokemon out.
Tabasco will
for
be
the
out, and that's it.
With that, I've actually decided instead of granting the advantage on that, I'm just going to lower the overall difficulty because it means that we have to roll fewer dice and it'll take less time. So that's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals because 2 Pokemon, 4 people are going to be headed through. With that, you guys know sort of the path is going on. You see the entrance to the cave. Did you ever come up with something to deal with the cameras?
I think that was what the wind thing was
The
going to be.
dust, yeah.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
trying
the
to
vacuum wave.
cover it
With the dust bowl. Okay.
dirt.
So
Good to
yeah, I
know.
think it'll be like Richter will kind of throw out some little small dust particles from just picking up the sand and kind of just spitting it out, and then Rio can like vacuum it out.
The vacuum wave. Okay. Yeah. Can you both roll me the attack rolls that you would do for? I know that you're not properly using Sand Tomb here, Matt, but that's the most appropriate thing I can think of. The rolls for Sand Tomb and Vacuum Wave. You do not detract PP on RP based move usage, by the way.
Thank you for the reminder.
That is only battle based move usage.
Let's see. That is
The difficulty in this one is not necessarily high, but I just need to make sure that you guys don't like
18.
roll like absolute poopy. Oh, you did so great. Okay.
Did you say like stab and black belt they don't apply? Oh, those
Well,
are
because
only
it's not
for
it's not
those are only for
damage. Yeah, you're just rolling the
Okay.
attack roll.
Okay. So that's gonna be an 8 on my end.
Unless you want to kill these guys.
No, No, it's gonna be an 8 for me.
All right, so 26 is going to beat the difficulty of 20 that I needed from you guys. So you guys are going to come down around to the sort of like the front corner of Diglett Cave, like right around the crest of the ridgeline, and you can see sort of multiple individuals both like right inside the cavern and outside of it. You see the cameras. The Pokemon come out. Can you guys give me sort of like a description for a successful, like, I know that you've given me sort of like what the plan is, but what does it actually look like in this moment?
So I think as Richter kind of chews up some dirt and spits it out, it's kind of like when someone holds a match and then sprays hairspray. You know what I mean? So
What a violent like comparison.
Yes.
Yeah,
I couldn't
let's
think
do
of
it.
anything else. I think that's kind of what it is, though. He kind of shoots a little bit up, and then Tabasco just goes and like blows all of it directly in the
like
path of
Last
the cameras.
Airbender, like
We just watched the first episode of Legend of Korra. So like first the full like blow all of the dirt straight towards the cameras, and it like sprays out in a cone.
Okay. The dust cloud sort of like expands out in front of you. It is a moment where you hear like sounds of confusion from the guards, and sort of like other workers that are there. If you're gonna move, this is the time to move. Do you guys press through?
Hip.
Okay. You sort of start to scuttle through. Can I get stealth checks from everyone? And remember, for your Pokemon, that includes agility. Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Richter got a 7.
Okay.
Seth got a 19.
Oh, Seth doing work right now.
Damn.
All right.
DJ rolled a 14,
Okay.
and Tabasco rolled a 12.
All right. You guys succeeded by 15 over the top of the difficulty.
Hey, yo.
Okay, so as you guys sort of like very quickly rush into the cave, it is that thing where you have to move with your Pokemon, because returning a Pokemon would be a very bad idea. It would definitely be a light flash in the cloud of dust. You push in, and the feet, like your feet are like moving on the sort of hard packed dirt, and you really can't see anything in front of you, and you're having to stifle those coughs of the dust cloud. You got your like shirts up over your noses, and you push in, and one of the first things is like it doesn't get super dark in the Diglett Cave at the moment, because you'll notice that there are sort of like fluorescent temporary bulbs hung at intervals within the cavern. And you see where the cavern once used to look like it like very quickly tapered off into where you were told previously there was just like a shaft and the ladder that would go straight down. Now it looks like you can see that the construction crew has taken the time to take like sort of like local rocks and other like pieces of debris and created this like very nice like sort of rock packed staircase that exists like you'd see on like a mountain trail or something, where it's all like flat rocks that goes down. Next to it there is a larger section of cave where rubble is cleared away, and it looks like they're using it as sort of a road to take heavy machinery up and down. You imagine that'll probably get filled in when the construction project is finished, just to like leave the cave a little bit more natural. Pushing down the staircase, you have to it's good accessibility for a vehicle, but not for the Pokemon that live here. But you guys head like around a set of boxes behind a sort of a larger piece of like machinery and move down that staircase. And it's sort of like the only way you can really push without getting caught, because already the dust cloud is starting to disperse like a little bit deeper into the tunnel and a little bit further out, that like sort of air pressure differential carrying the dust out. It is everything you can do to not echo your footsteps on the stone steps, of trying to just be like, all right, heel to toe, like very quick steps. The staircase is one of those ones where the angle on it is kind of steep enough to where even going down, the sides of your calves are like burning a little bit, getting down to the bottom. But you successfully find your way to the bottom of Diglett Cave without sort of like running into any issue at this point in time. As you find your way there, you see that there's an expansive tunnel with ceilings of probably like 60 feet tall, like almost right up to the surface sort of height. You see that like it's sort of like very wide from side to side, maybe apologize for non-Americans, but like half a football field sort of like width in terms of like how wide it is. There are like these like large like rocky structures that for the most part have tried to been left intact, but you do see like small like grinding sections where like machinery's had to rub against them, having to pick up sections of the ceiling. You figure the ceilings probably also weren't that high at some points and then had to be after a cavern collapse. But looking around, you can see that the tracks all sort of like lead deeper into the cave. At the current point, all you see is like the occasional fluorescent bulb hung from some of those rocky structures and spires that stick out, and a mostly flat walking area.
So there's nobody in our vicinity?
At the current moment, no. It seems like most of the skeleton crew is out front at the moment. Or at whatever the current build site is at, which there might be some distance between those two places.
Corinne's gonna look kind of around at the group, double check the surroundings, looking for wires, looking for cameras. And then it's gonna turn to the group and say, cool, we're here. And then I'm gonna look at Vermilion and be like, what are we looking for again?
I thought you had a plan. I never got that far. I thought you guys had a plan.
Okay, I'm going to look for, if I can, I want to try and combine, it'd be like maybe Pokelore, maybe Poke handling, and tracking to see if I can find either footsteps or track marks of Sandslash.
Ooh, interesting.
Because it wouldn't work for Cadaver.
Yeah, that would probably be tracking.
While that's happening, can I go ahead and pop out Hypno?
Okay, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
7.
With a 7, I will say you don't really like, 7's actually not a bad roll in terms of like the general unbeatable system. You look around and you don't really actually see a whole lot of footprints of any sort of Pokemon in the recent areas. It's probably because the main road where like they're moving materials in and out, most Pokemon are probably shying from at the moment and keeping their distance. You're probably not going to run into a whole lot of Pokemon while sticking to the areas that Construction Co. has been working at.
Can I also be looking around for any sort of like openings that look like they were probably man-made? Like anything that looks like it could lead to another like hideout type spot? And Kenriolu, he's not going to be able to do this, but I want him to basically be sniffing for the Kadabra. Ha 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 ha.
As sort of Hypno is being pulled out, I'm not going to actually make you roll for this, DJ. Everything man-made, it seems, is pretty much stuck to this main lane. It seems like for the most part, outside of securing the sort of roof of the cavern, they have tried to leave as much of the natural cavern intact as possible. So they are not straying off to the sides. It doesn't look like any heavy machinery has really gone off of the main road at all.
Okay.
So that's the thing to keep an eye out for, but that does tell you if there's going to be anything person-made, probably going to be down the road.
All right, I'll keep an eye out.
Good to know. And then Hypno coming out, Hypno kind of like looks at you with its little pendulum. Hypno.
Hey, Newton. Do you like that?
Hypno.
Okay, cool. You're Newton now. I hope you're okay with that.
Hypno.
If not, tell me in a dream. All right, so if you could help us out.
Don't invite him to your dreams, please, Coryne. That's Seth saying that. Please don't. Do not do that.
Corinne's like, I mean, okay.
I look to Newton. I'm like, don't do it. I know she said you could do it. Don't do it.
It's just the physical motion that Hypno makes is like of like a eating motion.
Jesus, never mind. I'd like to take it back.
Hypno are known for their hypnosis dream eater combo, bro.
Yeah, don't invite that.
Spooky.
Great. So
the house to Hypno at Cornucopia, it was the worst week. I could not sleep. I
just
did
no
sleep.
It
was
all.
Just bad. Yeah, not fun.
Yeah, no dreams.
So I mean, if you want not fun, no dreams, have at it. But just
no, that's okay. Coryne is like looking at Newton, looking at Seth, looking at Newton, looking at Seth, looking at, and it's just like maybe I don't know. Newton, would you mind helping us out? Do you remember where you felt that teleport go?
Hypno, and points straight down the middle road.
Brilliant.
That's not ominous.
We have our heading.
Here we
Hypno.
go.
Hypno. And like it seems like Hypno is currently like feeling something. And then points again down the middle road. Like I felt it there and also it's there right now.
It's there right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There are recent tire tracks on the main road. Maybe somebody's car left where you were at and then went somewhere else. That may be somewhere where you guys went.
Are they they're here right now? I turn and I look at Vermilion.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Here we go.
Literally.
Wait a minute. I know these tire tracks. There's a Chevy Equinox here, guys. Be
Oh, no, fuck. Not the Chevy
Nice.
Equinox.
Not the
It's
Chevy
immune to all
Equinox.
forms of Pokemon damage.
I'll turn and I'll look at the rest of the group. Are we going?
I mean, if you guys go, I have to make sure I can get you out of here.
This is true.
So I think Seth is
Oh.
just gonna stick around as long as we're here, is what I keep hearing.
Wait, before we go any further, and DJ's gonna give an escape rope to each person
Ooh.
that she had bought earlier, just in case we gotta go.
Okay, and now I get to describe the in-world logic for how the fucking escape rope works, because I know that, like, you think, it just, you tie it to one end of the cave and then follow it back. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a lot of reasons. And given this is a world where teleporting exists, I'm gonna say, fuck it. An escape rope, you put a little marker at the front of the cave, and then you tug on it, and it takes you to the front of the cave. It's just a little, like,
I'd
length
like
of
to
rope.
build off of this. I think what it is it is teleport technology, and every cave in the Kanto region and other regions as well have that teleport receiver where if they get the signal from the escape rope technology,
I'll take it. Yeah.
that teleports you to the front.
Yeah.
It's whatever
I
you
dig it.
passed most recently. That's the it's a,
I'll
it's a
I'll
tunnel.
take that because
Yeah,
the
I
logic of an
dig it.
escape rope of how it uses, I get how it's supposed to work in the game, but it makes no sense as an instant teleportation device. You just black out in the games is what happens.
No, you spin around. You go. teleporting.
This is a fucking magical game with creatures with hairy hands swinging pendulums and
Hypno.
teeny tiny Pokemon, teeny tiny creatures that can suplex you if they want to. I think it's okay
Tori,
if the
I'm
escape
just
rope
ahead of
logic
the
doesn't
YouTube.
check
I'm just
out.
ahead of the YouTube comments. I'm just
I'm
ahead
just
of them.
saying. I'm just
YouTube
being
ahead of the
I
YouTube
think
comments.
it's fine if the logic doesn't always check out.
Oh, and also surprisingly,
And we're
Spotify
going.
comments. Should we can comment on Spotify? Anyway, we're going to continue
did
going
not.
forward. You guys get all of your escape rope set up, and it is just like a little, like, you basically have just like a length of rope on your belt that if you tug on, it'll take you back to the front of the cave. But you guys get set up for that, and I'm assuming you're heading down the road at this point.
Mhm.
I reckon
All
we
signs
are.
point to forward.
All signs point to scary.
Yeah. As you continue going, it's probably about the same distance as it took you guys to get there to get from town. It's like half a mile of walking underground.
Ooh.
It is actually really concerning to be in sort of a wilderness area when you hear like no Pokemon. Because again, the Pokemon have been sort of like conditioned over the last like couple months to avoid this area just while the construction's happening. It would be dangerous for the Pokemon, it would be dangerous for the construction workers. But it means you guys are in almost total silence other than yourselves for like probably like 10 minutes of just walking. But eventually you do hear the sound of like maybe distant talking, and you hear like a low thrum of like electricity. And you notice that the cave in front of you like is about the same size, but you note that like you remember how I mentioned that down here the lights are attached sort of like to the little rocky structures off of the road because the ceilings are so high up, right?
Mhm.
You can see that in the distance there's maybe some sort of like metal framework going all the way up to the ceiling of the cavern with like lights installed all along the sides of it that like go all the way up to the ceiling. It's like, and probably like side to side as wide as the cave, if not wider, that you see sort of like out there. And that thrum of electricity is probably coming from the sheer amount of like power that is in whatever this maybe metal structure is. It looks very much like some sort of framework. Like, it doesn't look like it's a finished structure of any kind, but it fills the cave. If not, maybe goes further in. You can't really tell.
Does it seem like the thrumming is coming up from higher, like, or potentially lower, like where a generator might be?
As for a generator, you're not sure. It's less like there is a singular source of it and more like an overwhelming sort of like omnipresent thrum to the entire structure.
And how far are we from the center of this larger cave area section?
Well, the main road sort of like goes down the middle of it, and then it sort of hits the structure. So it's less like a large central cave and more like it just fills the tunnel. You guys are maybe at this point like 100 feet from the actual structure. And as you start to get closer, you do note signs of like the shadows of like people occasionally moving within the structure. Or like you'll see like a camera or two on the side that doesn't look like it might be able to see you at the moment, but might eventually be able to if you get closer. It looks like there is definitely at least as many people currently in the structure as there are out by the front.
I would like to take my phone out, and I have like a ribbon in my hair right now. I'm gonna tuck it between the straps of my bag and then kind of secure it in place.
You're gonna like body cam yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna body cam myself and start a recording. Because I learned from the pancake breakfast.
From the pancake
breakfast.
The next Pokemon stop is gonna be getting a GoPro.
A GoPro.
Literally though. Actually,
and then she's gonna put her goggles on for Ken. For no dirt. Yeah.
All of a sudden, DJ's like strapped
She's
and ready to go. I love that. Coryne is gonna see DJ take out her phone. Corinne's also gonna take out her phone. Do we have signal?
No.
Damn.
No.
Flashbacks to the base.
However, there is a Wi-Fi network available. It is locked. But other
I'm
people
not
down here
connected
have
to
signal.
that. Are you nuts?
No, what I'm saying is you don't have signal, but other people who are part of the organization that runs this will have signal.
Okay. I'm sitting here. All we need is a ping of new device connected to network. I'm like, Jesus.
Hey, boss, there's some kid's iPhone on the network.
Is Vermilion's phone connected?
That is such an interesting question.
Excellent question.
That is it, Matt. That is an excellent question. Let me roll some
would
stuff.
They pay attention enough to know? I don't know.
It's whether or not they would pay attention enough to know. But I
would
think
they have access? I don't know how long it's
That's
been
an explosion.
Since they left to.
As you guys are sort of like, as the sort of like GoPro is sort of like happening, the body cam's happening. You guys hear the slight like zzz of like alerts happening.
Device.
And you see Vermilion sort of like look down at their big sweater pocket and they pull it out and their phone's like starting to get like all the alerts they've been missing over the last like 20 minutes of you guys like being underground. And they go, connected to the Construction Co. Wi-Fi while I was down here. Oops. They turn on airplane mode.
Well, that shouldn't be anything bad.
No, but I guess that means that like, this is definitely Construction Co. that made this.
Do you know, based on previous construction operations that they've had, where you think their like central hub would be down here? Just so we can try and find that guy.
Normally there's like some sort of like build trailer, so like you drop like one of those like long like 50-foot trailers with like that like has like an office and a bathroom in it. And that's normally where like the office works out of, and Grandpa normally like it does like foreman stuff from being there whenever he's not. He normally does that and pushes the regular foreman off their job because he's pretty stubborn about being on the work site.
Oh, he's a control freak? Wild. I never would have guessed that.
Well, it's more like he's sort of like, so I don't know if you guys know the history of my grandpa's like company, but like it kind of started with just him and his Machop building stuff and kind of went from there. So he has a lot of like love for the business itself because he built it by himself, like literally built the building that it's in. He started building like 20 years ago and built it himself. Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah. But no, if we're looking for like some sort of like admin office, it would be a trailer, and you obviously can't hoist those very high. So unless the structure itself has some sort of like control room or something similar, it'll be at a construction trailer.
So how do we get in?
Well, I assume the front door right over there where the road goes in. Or we could go around the side and try, if we were, suicidal, we could go around the side and try and climb up, because look, it's just a wire work frame, so there's no like walls. We could probably just climb the metal beams if we wanted to. Because there's like rebar sticking out, so like we could, and you can see like sort of like the engineering brain of Vermilion is like, and those points would be strong, so they'd be able to support our weight. I still don't know what we're looking for, but like, this is kind of big.
Vermilion, do you know why the guards of your grandpa would want to attack us while we're patrolling, or why they would be patrolling the town at night?
I assume the mix of being sort of like a capitalist company owner and being sort of like a control freak, like DJ said, sort of combine at some point. And now I think, based off of the conversation I have this morning, my grandfather may be going on some sort of like control freak trip. And the cameras are just kind of his way of like literally big brothering everyone. And he's kind of an asshole sometimes.
But there has
He's
to
a
be
nice
a
grandpa, but he's
reason
kind
for
of an
that,
asshole.
right?
I mean, did you not hear his big speech that he yelled at me like an hour ago? Where like, oh, Kanto's not safe. Oh, da-da-da, we can't trust anybody. Oh, all that.
But also,
I didn't hear that speech. That
why
sucked.
wouldn't they just come and take the camera back or ask us for why would they just start attacking?
Probably send a message.
I don't know about you, Vermilion, but if you wanted to send a message back to him, he did say it runs off of a Porygon system that encrypts everything. So we could try and find the Porygon and catch it, free it, release it. I don't know how Porygons work. I'm not too sure.
So they kind of like jump into a network. It's this really, they have this sort of like semi-physical body. Like they can be a person, they can come out, but then they can jump into a network and become data, and they just sort of swim around. So it'd basically be like a drag and drop sort of situation.
Could we get it from your phone?
Yeah, could you call the Porygon
from my phone? Absolutely not. We'd have to go to somewhere with admin access.
Like the trailer at the end of the road here?
Maybe the trailer, or if there's any other, like I mentioned, I don't know what other is in this like sort of big ass structure.
A or B?
I think whichever one we find first.
A or B?
I'm bad at decisions. Someone else choose.
Jesus. So A is we go look for the trailer where President Jimeno probably is.
Mm-hmm. B is we climb around
and look for some sort of control room and figure out what this structure is. Because this goes beyond the scope of keeping a cave sort of supported and big. Whatever this is not what they were sent down here to make.
Yeah, okay. Corinne's gonna vote B, but also,
What is this? You do not know.
No, not even what is this, but I'm kind of like picking up on the conversation that like Seth's trying to like prompt Vermilion for, and I'm just like, yeah, there was that whole big speech about how everything isn't safe and blah, blah, blah. But like, there has to be insider information to know to this level that it gets to, like, Jimeno knows something and it's not letting anybody else know, but it's big and it's bad and it's scary.
I'm going to put my Pokeball kind of like under my shirt and kind of cover the light on it, but I'm going to return Richter, and I'm going to bring out Axel, but I'm going to tell Axel to not have his tail on fire
out. Okay, 100%. Yeah. It's easy enough, no rolls required. Yeah, given that you're not currently being observed as far as you're aware. Yeah. Okay, so you switch to climbing mode. It seems like you guys are more looking at maybe not the main entrance, sort of looking around.
I think we're going to climb up on the scaffolding.
The structure.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you sort of like go off the beaten path, the cameras are only an issue if you're going in the front door. as you guys sort of go off to the side, you get sort of more of an idea of this structure now that you're a lot closer to it. You can see these very heavy like metal beams that sort of connect in multiple jointed places that form this framework of a larger structure that is dug both into the side of the cavern, but it looks like they've cleared out sections directly above it. And like, you're not experts on necessarily engineering or building of any kind, but you'd swear it's like, man, it is right below the surface in certain spots where this goes. And you can see that the framework is meant to hoist up what looks like a larger sort of metal framework of machinery that exists. There are these like long cylindrical like tubes almost that are connected to large boxes that look like the framework is meant to like slide them up, almost like further up past where the ceiling of the cavern goes. And as you get closer, it's like this place is not finished being built. It is not secured. So you could very easily, I think even without checks, because it's kind of really easy to climb, start pushing up into the structure if you wanted to climb. It's probably, you could probably get like 3 or 4 floors worth of height up, depending on how high you want to go.
How good are we with heights?
How good are you guys with heights?
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Pulling a
DJ's
pulling a
only
similar
5 feet off the ground. Not great.
With Seth's example to go off of, Vermilion is going to also sort of like do the tuck of a Pokeball and release Gerber as the cherry red sort of scissor appears, just in case one of you ends up falling at some point, just to have out. Gerber is very fast, but getting up into the structure and you start to like move with heights, you know, DJ, you start to feel a little bit of like that like nervousness in your stomach as you do the classic blunder of looking down a little bit. Getting into the structure, you can see that this framework is only a framework. It is meant to support the machinery that is above you. So climbing up 3, 4, 5 stories before you start reaching what looks like metal rooms, it looks like, with like large chunks of like exposed machinery, maybe some sort of like, it looks like maybe like a piston of some kind. There is definitely like machinery meant to move large pieces of metal, and a circuitry to support it being controlled from another location. Vermilion has points in technology. Do any of you have points in technology?
Bowie's got like
Dos.
4.
Bowie does have like 4. Okay. I will give Vermilion an advantage for each of you that has points in technology, which seems like 1, to sort of follow the circuitry and see if they can figure out and explain to you what this is. Okay, so that was a 1 on the D4. And Vermilion's education is a D20. So that's a 14 plus their 3 for their things. So that's 17, 18 from Vermilion. As you guys are sort of like looking at the structure, kind of like pulling yourself up, your hands are raw and sore from where you've had to like press into the metal. Vermilion's gonna stop and go, oh, holy shit. They're gonna look at you guys and then look at the big hunk of metal next to them, this like sort of like very long cylindrical tube attached to like a large box, it almost looks like. I just figured out what the fuck this is.
And?
I get why Grandpa said the world isn't safe anymore. He was talking about sea foam. This is a big fucking cannon.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What?
Look at it. It's a gun. They like point at it and you realize the cylinder that's like maybe like 3 foot in diameter is a giant gun that can be pushed up and move through the bottom of the earth. This man is building some sort of failsafe.
And in Diglett Cave.
Diglett Cave, if you'll remember, is directly below Vermilion City.
Right.
So...
But...
He's making use of the
Aaron,
city's
we're
basement
smooth
to
brain.
store...
Help.
No. I'm just a little astounded.
This is I know what's going on.
This is anime villain.
Okay,
This is
fine.
anime villain.
I'm Smooth Brain. Explain
Okay.
to me
Okay.
why a
Torie.
cannon
Remember-
directly under the city
Torie.
would be helpful to him.
Torie, we're not far from Seafoam in terms of distances, and if a large ballistic gun were to come from the city of Vermilion and then shoot at, I don't know, a large legendary creature that popped up over Seafoam, it's just trying to defend itself.
He's
If a
building-
large legendary creature were to pop up at
Oh.
Vermilion City.
He's building an anti-legendary creature weapon system is what it looks like.
Oh.
Already, I got about 6 different kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Without what seems like the permission of most of the residents of Vermilion City, it looks
Because
like.
we're so close to the surface, how's our signal looking not on Wi-Fi?
I will roll for it and I'll give you incremental updates. That's a good thing to be tracking. I rolled very low just now, but that is not a bad question to be asking.
All right. I'll look to Vermilion and say, how do we even start with stopping this?
It's been a long day for Vermilion already. It's like maybe noon. It's been a very long day for Vermilion. They are, I think, mentally struggling, and I'm actually going to roll a fortitude check for them right now, which is not a high stat for them. It's a D6.
Either I'm going to, or if someone else has a free phone that's not strapped to their chest, DJ will be asking someone to take pictures.
Yeah, I think that's pretty doable.
We can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very doable.
Bowie,
Um,
go.
At this point, like as you guys are starting to like talk and Vermilion sort of like had this realization, they kind of like sit down and they just kind of like, oh my god, he went fucking crazy. Like it's this moment where like it's a very hard moment to realize that one of your family members is mentally unwell. But there is no other excuse for a 30-foot long gun, you know?
I think if Vermilion is just kind of like, because I'm taking this as them shutting down and not.
Yeah, they are definitely shutting down. I
working
rolled
from
very
this.
low on their fortitude.
I'm going to, if they're sitting down, I'm just going to sit down next to them and say it's not easy to deal with something like this. I can barely even get close to imagining, just because I think the worst I've seen my family do in terms of things are just bad puns. So this can't really match up to large subterranean cannon for defending a city. But it's not an easy thing to say, but there are times where you need to know that you're not your family or where your family came from or what they do, and you can make decisions not necessarily to right their wrongs, but to stand up for what you believe in. So I know you have a lot to process right now. We may not have a lot of time to process that currently, but no, you will have the time. But we do need to act soon.
I think the worst part is just I see the merits of the plan.
All right, guys. So we lost Vermilion. So we're I'm kidding.
What are the merits? What are they?
I mean, I don't know that he's necessarily wrong. Like, we were there. We saw what Articuno was like. Like, the Elite Four couldn't stop it, you know? And there's 2 more of those. Who knows if Moltres or Zapdos is going to show up one of these days, or something worse and bigger, right?
So, instead of going after the root of the problem, we're going after the symptom of the problem, which is rockets and bad guys stealing legendaries. We bring an anti-legendary gun instead of going after the rockets?
I mean, that's kind
It's
of
not
what the League is
Articuno's
working
fault.
on, right? And I didn't say it is, but like that's what the League's doing right now, right? Like, what are the rest of us supposed to do?
Sit tight.
We couldn't even fight at the beaches in Seafoam, right? Like we didn't have enough badges.
Yeah. Just because we couldn't fight that particular way doesn't mean we have no options to like help in some other form
I
or
don't think
fashion.
it's like correct, but I don't know that he's wrong either.
I am going to look over to Axel, who's probably just like trying to not be seen from looking outside the window of the little shack thing that we're in, but he's wanting to see like how high up he is and stuff. Just goofing around, and I'll point over to him and say, we helped at Seafoam. If we didn't do something, he wouldn't be here. So,
and I'm saying that, like, yeah, I'm saying that, like, I don't know. I think that this is not the right way to do things, but I don't know that the overall point is wrong. Like, having, you know, he's not wrong. There is a villain organization with a legend. That's just the truth. But also, gun, not way to solve that. That's sort of always how he's been, you know what I mean? Of like, even his big evil villain mental break is, I'm gonna protect the people of Vermilion City. That sucks. Because he's not fully wrong. I mean, he is wrong, but he's not crazy. He is crazy. You see that
His
Vermilion is like
intentions
going
are
back and
there.
forth. Yeah, the
it-
intentions are there. And it's just like,
I get that. We, at this moment in time, though, I don't think we can give him the most benefit of any type of doubt currently, just because a large weapon has been created when he's been contracted by the League to restore Pokemon to their natural habitat and has not been doing that. I know he's trying to stop something that's not right, which is an evil organization taking a legendary Pokemon and running away with it, and he's wanting to defend people, but not being able to properly give Pokemon a place to stay when that's what he's been hired to do and has built up somewhat of a monopoly around it too, that's not good either. And there's ways we can fight. Obviously, we can't fight a large legendary, but something we can do is help these Pokemon that have been displaced get back to where they belong. So that's a big moral question for another day. But we need to make things right here with the things we can personally interact with now.
all right, go ahead and roll me a charm check. I'm not going to grant you an advantage on this one.
Rude. 8.
Okay. This sort of conversation is definitely one of those ones that it looks like it's gonna go back and forth, and for that reason, there's not like a lot of like merit in the sort of continued discussion with both sides have sort of made their point, and Vermilion is very obviously struggling at this point in time, because they were already sort of dealing with the small scale of, my grandfather is controlling my life out of this sort of like weird protectiveness, and now it's, my grandfather is controlling the lives of people in a city out of the same sort of like weird narcissistic protectiveness. And it's sort of just like an immediate escalation to the next level that they are struggling with. Vermilion, I don't think is going to be very useful to you guys at this point. Gerber at this point, sort of like you hear him dunk, land on the metal and dunk, 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 and just go and sort of like take the claw and like pat them on the head, but it looks like they may not be necessarily the most helpful here.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stand up and look at this tube rifle thing. I don't know.
Yeah, the big tube. Yeah.
What type of buttons? What tech am I seeing here? What buttons? I'm gonna just start breaking things.
So there's no buttons on the actual thing. There are a fair amount of like wires and pistons and things attached to the actual gun. Looking at it, with how Vermilion has pointed things out to you already, I'll let you piggyback off of their incredible tech check. Looking at this, it looks like this is all meant to. This is color coded. This is all meant to be remotely controlled from not this location. It doesn't feel like without a very strong Pokemon to sort of like beat the shit out of this, there is a lot you personally could do to damage this.
Okay.
What if we take pictures, gather all the evidence, and we take it to Jenny?
It's just gonna get caught up in more of nothing, because I know it's only been a day, but I feel like with the grip that he's got on the city in terms of the infrastructure and how much he's supporting everything that's moving in this city, not much can be done. So we need to get this to an outside source, which we have, and we need to have a signal in order to do so. Speaking of, signal check. How are we looking?
Still nothing.
So I am going to look at Vermilion and then the others, and then I'm going to start walking towards the exit of this shack to climb down to try and find the next thing that, I don't know, we have to do
One of the things that I mentioned a second ago with where it's meant to be piloted not from here, as you start to walk, you're looking at the lines of sort of like wires and everything. It looks like you could probably follow a lot of these conduits to an area that looks like it's probably on this same floor if you wanted to try and maybe look at disabling this.
Then that I shall do.
Okay, I was just making you aware of that.
Okay.
You guys sort of step out, and on each of the floors, there's sort of like this metal sheeting that goes across that you can walk across. And there's almost a sense of urgency. And by the way, Vermilion does not come with you at this point. I want to clarify, Vermilion is going to stay at the big gun. But you guys sort of moving away from them a little bit, looking around, you do eventually come across what is helpfully labeled control room on a large blue exterior door that exists there, and you can see a lot of like the conduits and stuff lead to this main room, and that sort of
color coding,
like color code. It was color coded the whole time. That sort of like omnipresent buzzing is very loud, and just wiggling the handle. It is unlocked. I did roll for that a second ago to see whether or not it would be unlocked because I know that was a question that was going to get asked. But you sort of like click, it open, and as the door kind of opens, you see this room that sort of actually reminds you of your time you spent in Pallet Town at the Pokemon Center, where there was that security room with all the different monitors. This is very similar, if much more extensive. And you see that there are probably half a dozen different monitors with a empty chair and a keyboard in front of it. And you can see a lot of the facility, and you can also see that you're tied into the Vermilion City security system that you've just noticed relatively recently.
Bro.
Stepping in, the three of you sort of immediately noting your eye would be taken to motion, I think, first of all the things, the three of you, and you would spot motion as to people in the facility around. You see that there's a couple workers sort of like finagling with what looks like some circuitry. You see that there's somebody sort of working on unloading like a package of like probably rolled steel off of one of the trailers. Then you see that there's one of those guys with like the construction hat and the clipboard. It looks like doing some sort of an inspection, leading a small group of like 5 or so people up a set of stairs. That group of 5 or so people is President Jimeno and his 4 security guards. It seems like they are doing some sort of routine inspection at the moment. And currently, as we're going to end today's episode, you are aware that they are heading in your direction. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's episode of Unbeatable. Goodbye. We were going long. Right. Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you for watching this episode of Unbeatable, which was brought to you by you, our patrons, which if you're not a patron, I recommend getting over there because we have an exclusive, super secret Discord. It's not secret. You just have to pay for the Discord and you'll get access to it, where we answer questions that are in our Q&A videos every single month. If you don't, I mean, that's cool too, I guess. Stay unbeatable. This episode brought to you by you specifically, thanks to Spencer Lindholm, who is subscribed at the Champion tier over on our Patreon. That helps us keep the show going, and we cannot do the show without that type of support, so we appreciate it greatly. Until next time, bye-bye! I'm gonna keep waving. I'm gonna keep waving. Goodbye.
I'll train until I meet my goal. If stakes are high, no, I won't fold, because I am unbeatable. Earning every badge, whatever it takes, I'm gonna be the best trainer, you just wait. And I know the road ahead looks like it won't be easy. I am unbeatable. Standing by my side, got my friends with me to explore a whole world of possibilities. But no matter what the challenge is, we can overcome it together. Because we are unbeatable, we'll train until we meet our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold, because we our goal. If stakes are high, no, we won't fold because we are unbeatable.